we work with a mental health charity called Turn to Me. Like since February, they've had a 300% increase in visits to their group counselling page. Like they've also had a 250% increase in visits to their one-to-one counselling page. They are staggering stats. They're mind-boggling. Like for those struggling with remote, like how can employers help today, folks?
Yeah, the acute mental health issues and are real, and there is a lot of challenges with we're working from home, the isolation, the environment at home, the stress of having family, trying to get work deadlines, all of that stuff is just tenfold than it was when you get out of the office, sit in the office for at least 10 hours straight and try and solve it. Yeah. So the challenges are very real, and having those supports and communicating that it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. We've had some great influencers in Ireland around, like Brezzi and these people who have kind of trying to break down the stigma of mental health issues, especially in males. And we work a lot with the construction industry, which is obviously not one that would be well known for well-being, but there's a lot of young males and females that are away from home. Some of them in Europe, in data centers or building sites, and they're away from home and they're drinking in the evenings. Like what they do as an Irish person socially abroad, the first thing you think about is let's go to the pub, and that can compound, and if that behaviour continues, it becomes a habit and all the challenges. So mental health and having those supports and a resource in each organisation, things like EAP. A lot of organisations will have EAP, employee assistance programs. Yeah, making that information readily available, breaking down the stigma. And we do a lot of education around EAP with our clients that have a number saying, actually, there's so much resource in an EAP. It's not just about if you're really struggling with mental health. There's help around financial well-being, there's psychological help, there's relationship advice, there's loads of different things that isn't the acute piece, but there is a lot of acute piece. But organizations understanding that they need to talk about it, to give avenues of people to access numbers like you mentioned, turn to me there, or other organizations that will help them. But it's about just opening up that dialogue, that conversation. When you have a relationship with your manager and you have that empathy and you've had a couple of conversations about personal issues, not just always about business. There's a relationship there, and that even breaks down some of the stress around anxiety. So a manager says to you, geez, I know, Shane, you have a tough environment there. I know you have a challenge at home with the family and this and that and the other. You're like going, actually, maybe I can have a chat with him about it. So maybe your compounding of that stress and that anxiety in your chest is relieved because you feel like there's an avenue for you to speak. And a lot of that, I'm not an expert in the space or anything like that, but a lot of it is probably because people have to hold back information. Probably that compounds a lot of challenges. I was on the board of Aware for a long time, and I'm still an ambassador, so I'm quite au fait with the space. And I think just having avenues to speak sometimes is the best exercise. I know, Elise, you talk about this in a lot of talks that you do, is the two most proven ways to deal with mental stress or anxiety are exercise and meditation, I think. Is that correct there? So that like obviously there's loads of ways of dealing with it, but having somewhere to talk and exercise and having these good behaviors, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to prevent people from getting into the acute stage with exercise, with conversation, with good relationships, with water cooler moments. And I suppose that's what is our passion. We're passionate about trying to help people, I suppose.
Yeah, I think just echo what you said, Bernard, really, when it comes to the increased pressure on people in terms of their mental health, like employers, they have responsibility absolutely to help. And I think more and more are stepping up, and it's like Bernard said, in two ways. It's informally open up the door for that conversation, making sure you ask the right questions and in the right environment. And that's why we always keep coming back to stuff about the informal conversation, the picking up your phone and the asking employees how they're doing during this time. I mean, it could just be as simple as that, to actually make sure someone gets the support they want. And then a lot of employers who have really great resources for their employees to go to, they don't realize the employees just don't know about them. You have to actually over communicate those supports a little bit to make sure everyone hears about them, because it's just pointless having these amazing benefits and people just don't even know they're there. And normalizing the fact that they're there. So if you mentioned that you had counselling service in every meeting you had with your team, I mean, that would really get through to them that, like, okay, that's really normal that I can access that if I need it. And why don't I just do it when I'm under pressure at this time,
Like, it makes so much sense. Like, it's clear as day, like full-time remote, it's not for everybody. And like it showed up clearly in our own data research. Like they're searching for tips online to promote like good mental health during this time. Like, and I suppose lack of support from maybe their employer is almost certainly kind of, it's probably aiding that it's leading towards this. And like there's a huge increase in work from home isolation searches. Like they're massively on the rise. Work from home anxiety, that's one of the top search terms that we uncovered over the last couple of months. People are searching for even on Google like phrases like work from home mental health tips. So like if you look at the data as a whole, like depression related searches are up 20%, anxiety and stress are up 19%. Just to throw a few more stats at it, like there's 38% of an increase on YouTube in searches for coping technique videos. Like people are looking for 5-minute meditations. They're looking for stress relieving yoga, stress management. These are things that are all on the up over the last 12 weeks. And this is how I think people are feeling, because that's what they're typing in the search bar, be it on YouTube or be it on Google.
Data paints such a picture when you say it like that, doesn't it? It's like it's painting a whole picture of exactly what people are dealing with right now and exactly what they need. And I guess for us, the beauty of having a tech solution to well-being is that you can provide all those supports you've mentioned. They're all so different. Yoga videos, exercise tips. Like we had to pivot straight away on our content for COVID support. So one of our executive coaches, his name is a guy called Colin Murphy, from Dynamic Leadership. I mean, he straight away started doing a really short video series, so 1 tip a day of how to cope with this. So it might be one day it might be on effective leadership, the next day it might be on revisiting your schedule, the next day it might be on communicating with another employee over an issue. So he just put together a whole series really quickly to try and deal with that, because you need it at your fingertips. I mean, that's why everyone goes online for these tips now, and people are turning to apps more and more for this kind of support. And I think any employer who has technology like that needs to use it.